welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do the mid-year book freakout tag. It's actually the beginning of August already, so it's not quite mid-year, but I've read 25 books so far this year, so I thought this would be a good way to spotlight some of the books I have read. The first question is, what is the best book you've read in 2018 so far? And my answer for that is a very recent read, and that's Days of Blood and Starlight by Laini Taylor. This book was everything I imagined it would be and more after having loved Daughter of Smoke and Bone. This is even better, takes the series to a whole new level, and it's the best one I've read so far, by far. The next question is, what is the best sequel you've read so far? And that would be, besides Days of Blood and Starlight, Alloy of Law by Brandon Sanderson. This is the start of a new series, or the bridge between two series, but it is a sequel to the Mistborn trilogy. So this one was so good, and I may have even liked it more than the third Mistborn. So the next one is a new release you haven't read yet, and there are so many, even like new ones that I own and haven't read yet. Children of Blood and Bone came out and I pre-ordered it, but I still haven't gotten around to reading it, mainly because of its size and because I'm in the middle of multiple other fantasy series right now, but I really want to get to this one soon. Next question is, what are your most anticipated releases? And number one is probably Kingdom of Ash, which is the final book in the Throne of Glass series. And I don't even know how to handle that book coming out, and it's going to be so hard to make myself read because it's going to hurt for the series to be over. But I do plan on rereading all the books before it comes out, which means I better get started now because that's a lot of books to read. Skyward by Brandon Sanderson, which is his new young adult series, and I loved the Reckoners trilogy, so I'm very excited for that. And then, oh, Wild Card by Marie Lu. Very excited for that. I am obsessed with Warcross, and I actually don't even own my own copy yet, so I need to get that. And I need Wild Card as soon as it comes out. Number 5 is The Biggest Disappointment, and that easily goes to The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. I never had like the highest expectations for this book, but I got it in an owl crate, which is why the cover's green, and I was excited to read it, and I heard a lot of good things about it, but I did not like it. The first half or so, I was reading it and I was okay with it. Like, it was easy to read and it was mildly interesting, but the end was torture. The main character is unlikable in a not fun or interesting way, just like she's a crappy person kind of. And I know there's like some sort of reason, I think, at the end, because I did like skim read the end of it, but I don't care. It was horrible, and I'm actually surprised I still own it. This will be gone soon. Number 6 is the biggest surprise I've read so far, and that is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black, which I feel like surprised a lot of people with how good it was, I think. Although I know a lot of people still don't like it. But I read The Coldest Girl in Cold Town by Holly Black and really didn't like it. As we all saw, there was so much hype surrounding this book, and I had no plan on reading it, no intentions to get it, but one day I was at the store and I saw it and it was super cheap, even though it had just came out, and I picked it up because I just heard so many people raving about it that I had to try it. I went in with super low expectations, thinking I was gonna dislike it, like maybe it would be better than Coldest Girl in Cold Town, but not expecting to love it, and I really did like it. It's not my favorite thing in the world, but it's really fun, and I think the starting with really low expectations like really boosted my enjoyment of it because it was just surprising the whole time I was reading it. So this one was very good, and I'm very excited for the sequel to come out. Next question is favorite new author, and for that I'm gonna go with Michael Rutger, author of The Anomaly. This book had great characters, a great plot, and was very gripping to read, so I can't wait to find more books by this author. I'm not sure if he's already written any more or if this is his debut, but either way I will be reading whatever he comes out with next. Next question is, who is your newest fictional crush? And I feel like I don't really have crushes in books very often. Like, I'll enjoy a love interest for who they're with, but I personally don't get feelings for them because they're not real. But if I had to pick, I would choose Raiden from the Daughter of the Pirate King duology. This is Daughter of the Siren Queen, the sequel. But these were very entertaining, and one of my favorite parts was Raiden, who is the love interest, but not at first. At first they're enemies, which, you know, that's always fun. But he had, you know, a story, and even whenever he, you know, was falling for Alosa, there were still things he like wouldn't accept from her. You know, he wasn't just blinded by love, which was enjoyable. And I mean, hey, I might have a little crush on him. Next question is favorite new character, and I can't think of anyone else to say for it besides Wayne from Aloy of Law. He is just wild, I guess. He's really funny. He's, you know, witty banter, but also when he's by himself, he's still funny. He is like a master of accents and going under disguise. And whenever you're like following his perspective and he's in his disguise, he's like, his brain is in it. So like he impersonated a police chief of some sort at a precinct going in, and like in his head he's thinking, I've been police chief for 25 years. I really should be ranked up to sergeant by now. I've worked really hard. Like, he is so in character that at first I was like, is this like a weird magical power where he's transforming into someone else? But I'm pretty sure he's just like that deep in disguise, and he is just so funny. And whenever there's serious subjects going on, he always like breaks the tension with a joke. So I can't wait to read more about Wayne. Okay, a book that made you cry. I don't specifically remember crying from any book this year, but one that like I feel a sadness whenever I think of or remember reading it is I Let You Go by Claire McIntosh. There are like some sad things going on. It starts off with a boy who gets hit by a car and the driver drives away, and he's, you know, just a little kid. In the very beginning is like the mother grieving, and then you follow a grieving mother, and you know, it's just sad. I don't remember if I actually cried though. I will cry at a book though. If you want to know a book to make you cry, where is it? Of course, it's all the way up there. I didn't read this year, but The Sky is Everywhere by Jandy Nelson. I really cried through the whole book. I read half the book one night and then had to sleep for the next day or whatever. But I was like excited to read the second half of the book the next day. Like, I blocked out time when I would be home alone just so I could read it, and I was like excited. Like, I'm gonna go cry and read the whole rest of this book. And I cried the whole rest of the book. It was fantastic for some reason. Anyways, I just wanted to show you a book that I genuinely cried in, since I didn't really answer the question. The next question is a book that made you happy, and I guess for that I would say The 17th Suspect by James Patterson, book 17 in the Women's Murder Club, which I only rated it 3 stars, but being back for the 17th time with some of my favorite characters makes me so happy. Next question is a beautiful book that you bought this year. I've bought a few beautiful books, like regular beautiful, you know, like, or like a cut above regular books, but this one is like a whole nother level. It's Oceanology, The True Account of the Voyage of the Nautilus. I don't even see who it's by. It's this humongous book that's like interactive. It has all these moving parts and fold outs. And there's a letter, or there's a one page that has like an envelope where you can, there's multiple envelopes. They're taped closed, or they're sealed closed, but this has a little paper coin held in it. And I haven't read this yet, but it's so pretty and I can't wait to read it and go through little flaps, and it just looks so fun. Alright guys, that is all the questions in the mid-year book freakout tag. How are you doing in your goal for reading this year? I have read 25 out of my goal of 60, and if you can do math, that means I'm very far behind, because it's over halfway through the year and I'm not even halfway through my goal, which is not great. But I plan on catching up. I'm trying really hard, kind of, to catch up, but we'll see how it goes. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.